that Park Place. Sweet Baby Inc. employee admits goal is burning the games industry to the ground. Really? So that's what we're going to be doing today. Let's take a look at this article here. A Sweet Baby Inc. employee named Cameron Wild, who claims to be non binary, of course, admitted that his goal is burning the games industry to the ground. Okay, well, one question I have here is if this individual is non binary, why does he have male pronouns? If you don't have male pronouns or female pronouns, I mean, your pronoun is it. That's how it works. I don't know what to tell you guys. In a presentation titled How to Get Away with Murder Subverting Genre Expectations at the Game Developers of Colorado Expo, Wild introduces himself saying he is a narrative designer and sensitivity reader with a company called Sweet Baby Inc. Wild, who according to Moby Games worked on Tales of Kenzira, Zeo, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Alan Wake 2, The Crew, a bunch of games, all right, then declared the stories we tell each other are way more than entertainment. They are how we create, debate, and preserve our collective values and beliefs. And we can and should make better, more expansive, more representational content. Then why do you want to burn this industry to the ground? If you're like, oh, this is how we create, debate, preserve our collective values and beliefs, and we can make it more expansive, then why are you trying to get rid of it? That's stupid. Are you stupid?
Stupid.
Then in the slide titled Cool, So Why Am I Here? One of the bullet points states burning the games industry to the ground. There you go. Cool, so why am I here? We want cooler stories. Oh, okay, what are cooler stories? Can you define that? And this individual probably does define that in the talk. A safer world. Okay, you know what that's code for? That is code for woke nonsense of, oh, the LGBTQ people, the alphabet people, are being targeted and subsequently assassinated, which they're not. Nobody is targeting the LGBTQ people. I disagree with your point of view, your lifestyle, but if you're an adult and you want to get all sorts of cosmetic surgery so that you can fool me into believing that you are a female, go ahead and do that. However, if I start hitting on you, your response should be, by the way, I'm trans. That's it. That's simple, because I need to know going in what you are and what I'm going to be able to get out of the relationship, because maybe I'm looking for somebody who can bear my children. And if you can't do that because you're trans, then I need to know that up front. That's going to be something that's going to be a big deal later on. So you should just get it out of the way now before either of us develops feelings or puts any effort into the situation. Now, you might be saying, well, anti-war warrior, what about a woman who knows that she is infertile? Should she be telling you that? Well, no, that's a different story. Just because somebody is infertile does not mean that they should be spreading that business, that information to just somebody who's hitting on them. With infertility, it's different because there are people who will date an infertile woman, but not want to date a trans person, right? So something you need to get out of the way early on, because a lot of men are going to be super offended by that. I wouldn't be like that offended, but still, it's like you're wasting my time. I don't want to be with a person who used to be a man. It's that simple. In the next slide titled, So Why Am I Still Here? One of the bullet points states, to prove that space where whiteness doesn't have to live is where some of the best stories are told. No, I'm sorry. These stories were perfected by white people. It's just the truth. I don't know what to tell you. What is it? The Odyssey and Romeo and Juliet are the only stories there are in the world. Now, you know what you're saying, what are you talking about? Yeah, believe me, I know what I'm talking about. I studied this stuff a lot. So Romeo and Juliet is a story that is unique to storytelling. Every other story can be found in the Odyssey. Who was it that designed both of those stories? What were those people? Oh yeah, they were Europeans. That's right. I don't know what to tell you. It was done thousands of years ago. Well, Romeo and Juliet was only hundreds of years ago, but still a long time ago. So your stories of like where whiteness doesn't live, those are just stupid things where you're going, oh, we're going to have the main character, instead of being a straight white man, it's going to be like a disabled lesbian black person. It'll be cool. Check it out. It's the same story, only for whatever reason, we have to constantly be reminded this person has a certain skin color, a certain lifestyle, etc. Well explained, a lot of us who are really fighting for more inclusive games and storytelling don't have a choice when it comes to discomfort. A lot of us who are just existing don't have a choice. You always have a choice as to whether or not you exist. Find a high point. You know what to do after you find that high point, which makes this really hard often. But recently, I started realizing that discomfort, or the place where whiteness doesn't have to live, is where some of the best stories are told, and it's where genre storytelling lives. No, it's not really. There is some truth to that. What I see what this person is saying is like, yeah, genre storytelling is like, this is an action adventure story. Well, that's a genre. What this person is pointing to, though, is saying, hey, look, We have to change the leads so that they're not straight white men. They're anything but straight white men. We want to move away from men in general, especially straight men, and have female leads or non-binary leads, whatever, all that stuff. Well, that's not a genre. Okay. So why am I still here? So this is what, this slide says. So why am I still here? To stop people who are uncomfortable hearing that not every story is theirs to own. What are you talking about? Action Jackson. Hardly any white people in the whole movie. Great movie. Go watch it. It's fun. The ending is kind of weak, but up to the ending, it's really fun. To prove that space where whiteness doesn't have to live is where some of the best stories are told. You're not going to be able to prove that. When you do genre well, it's about going deep into that well of discomfort and telling a story that has bite. Yeah, I always wanted to be injured when I was partaking of story. And these are the stories that make this individual feel real. Wow, you need stories to make you feel real? Maybe go to therapy, because this is crazy. Before we go any farther, I want to thank all of you for stopping by and supporting my channel. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed. You can find me on Rumble and on Twitter. Let's get back into this article here. Later in the presentation, Wilde explains why Blazing Saddles is his favorite movie. The reason why I love it beyond some truly Mel Brooksian slapstick humor and fart jokes, Blazing Saddles is extremely aware of social inequality and finds its humor in that darkness, which means I can laugh in a way that is cathartic. It's a movie that isn't making jokes about me, but for me, and I think that's really awesome. Because you can just tell in the text, but it's also a fact that Brooks worked with black writers to make sure the jokes came at the expense of whiteness and chipped away in an absurd social hierarchy. It's deliberately and unexpectedly a narrative that contributes to the liberation of people like me. It isn't respectful, it's offensive, but yeah, it offends the right people, which is, to me, the point of truly inclusive, intentional genre work.
So tolerant.
This person is clearly woke. Subsequently, what they're saying is it's okay to offend white people. It's okay to marginalize, to attack in any way white people, especially white men, I assume. That's why this person refuses to say, yeah, I'm a man. I'm a non-binary person. That's what I am. I'm a non-binary person. Therefore, I'm not a man. See, I get my brownie points. I'm good. I'm on the good side of the world, the reality that we live in. Yeah, it's not okay to go, yeah, a story is good because it diminishes or it attacks a certain group of people, no matter what that group of people is, right? We all know that. It's just racism. It's just racism and sexism. That's what this person is saying. In one ironic moment during the presentation, Wilde did share a nugget of truth. Ultimately, in your telling a story that misses its audience, that doesn't ring true, or fails to cut the right direction, the problem isn't that it's just insensitive. The problem is it's bad. However, he then points to Django Unchained being an example of this. While explaining his point of view, Wilde stated, so a context-free version of art is supposed to make people uncomfortable. As an auteur, Quentin Tarantino feels like someone who grasps after edginess when they don't really have any human tragedy to explore the depths of. They don't understand that growth comes from trauma, sure, but it also comes from joy. Wow, this person doesn't know what trauma is. He holds a no pain, no gain mentality that I think is unshakably rooted in white supremacist patriarchal values. Wilde asserted. Okay, yeah, let's see here. Death of the Edgelord is what this slide says here. When the black critics came out with savage think pieces about Django, I couldn't have cared less. If people don't like my movies, they don't like my movies. And if they don't get it, it doesn't matter. I don't care what black people think is kind of suspicious coming from a guy who gathers them to him all the time. Well, Tarantino films, I don't think they have a lot of black people in Tarantino films. I'm sure I haven't seen all of his films. So I'm sure, I don't know what his relationship with black people is. The last Tarantino film I think I saw was it The Hateful Eight? Was that the name of that film? Where had Kurt Russell in a cabin in the wilderness somewhere in the Old West. It was not a very good film. It was all right. But of course, the black guy was the hero. And that's fine. There's no problem at all with you having a black man as the hero in your film. I don't think that Quentin Tarantino is going around saying, hey, look, black people are worthless and I don't care about them. What I think he's saying is, look, I don't care about my haters. I don't care what skin color they are. I don't care what gender they are. I don't care about any of that stuff. If you are a hater on my movies, screw you. I don't care. And he has the ability to say that since he's been such a huge success in Hollywood. Tarantino films. I mean, we know his name for a reason because he's succeeded in Hollywood. The presentation then turns into a takedown of Tarantino with while stating, I do think Tarantino's work does need to be critiqued out of existence, and that he specifically has to be addressed in any discussion of that work because Tarantino is capable of genre filmmaking, but the genre he's chosen with Django is blaxploitation. Oh, so even when he's making a film honoring the black man, that's just blaxploitation. He's a white guy. He's not allowed to do that. Really?
What? What the fuck?
The insanity. The insanity. I can't even with this guy. And why? I have my own pet theories, Wilde continued. Personally, I think it's the same thing we see with any non-black creator who thinks that black people are cool, but can't really examine the covetous nature of their feelings or their own role in black stories. People who in life met a black person that they wanted to follow, or befriend, and never resolved it. The equivalent of a little boy pulling a little girl's pigtails, but it's a white filmmaker in black paint. Wow, this is what a reach. Yeah, I don't have any of these feelings where I'm like, oh, I saw that black girl and she was really hot and I wanted to get with her, and I didn't. I'm not sitting here going, oh man, so I need to make a film where the black people are the heroes. I don't think that way. I'm sorry. And believe me, there have been a lot of black women I've seen in my life that I was like, dang, I wouldn't mind. But not so skilled in that area. After about 10 minutes of reviewing Django Unchained and comparing it to Blazing Saddles, Wilde declared, arguably Django Unchained should never have existed because the truth is some stories are not yours to tell. Unless you're willing to step out of the limelight as a white person, you aren't equipped to tell a story about a black experience. However, if you are willing to put your own ego aside, well, you can go ahead and make Blazing Saddles something great. Wow. Like I was just saying, you're not allowed to tell these stories about black people if you're white. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. No matter what you do, you're racist. These people. He then wrapped up the entire presentation by sharing that good genre starts with representation on the creative team. The foundations of the project must be solid. Okay, so to have a solid foundation, then you should probably reduce representation, because representation has absolutely nothing to do with merit or ability. It only has to do with skin color and gender. That's it, which has nothing to do with whether or not you can write a good story. It has nothing to do with whether or not you can do anything, right? We all know this. If you're not racist, you know this anyway. Wilde also claims that the identity of your characters, specifically your heroes, must define their challenges and the narrative, but it must also define their triumphs. Are you freaking kidding me? So when I'm watching Star Wars, the prequel trilogy, and I'm watching one of my very favorite Jedi of all time, Mace Windu, kicking ass all over the screen, I'm supposed to go, well, that doesn't reflect his oppression that his people suffered in the United States for generations. So he can't be in the movie. Just stupid. So stupid. Finally, Wilde claims that good genre must consider its relationship to power. Well, this is kind of small. Let me zoom in on it here. The screenshot slide. Premeditation. Good genre starts with representation on the creative team. The foundations of the project must be solid. No, we already read that. To make good genre, the emotions of the story and the challenges of it must be known to the author, or else whatever emerges from it will be empty. All flash, bombast, or gore. No substance. Look, the challenges, the emotions of the story and the challenges of it, what he's getting at, I'm assuming, is that we need to know the struggles of the characters in the story. And of course, white people have no struggles. We know this, right? My life has just been cakewalk. Whatever I wanted, doors just open. It's that easy. So we need to feel that the minority characters, we need to feel their struggle in the story somehow. We need to understand what their struggle is coming from in the story somehow. Execution. In good genre, the identity of your characters, specifically your heroes, must define their challenges in the narrative, but it must also define their triumphs, like I just said. If you have a main character, if you have a character at all, we need to understand their challenge through their racial oppression. Good genre understands that it earns its freedom from knowing its boundaries, and it uses its aesthetic language to honor, reference, and subvert convention text and tropes are key. Good genre must consider its relationship to power. No, 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 no. None of that stuff matters. Whether they're talking about being SJW aware so that you can be racially sensitive in your storytelling, in your movie making. Stupid. And that is the end of that article. It says, what do you make of Wild admitting one of his goals is burning the industry to the ground? I don't know this Wild person. I know the games industry is hurting right now. Games industry is a big industry. It's a huge industry, and it's a good industry. I mean, as far as what it contributes to the world, it's a good industry, but it's burning to the ground. Another That Park Place article is Sweet Baby Inc. removes Square Enix from its client list on its website. This happened in September of 2024, end of September of 2024, at least this article. So you're getting what you wanted. Sweet Baby Inc. is destroying things. Video games consultancy Sweet Baby Inc., whose goal is to push woke ideology into video games, removes Square Enix from its client list on its website, probably because Square Enix doesn't want to agree with the woke garbage. Previously, Square Enix was listed in the middle of the second row of the company's list of clients between Ubisoft and Warner Brothers Games. I guess this is their list right here. There's Square Enix right there. However, Sweet Baby Inc. has since updated their client list on their website, and Square Enix is no longer on it. Along with Square Enix, Neurial, a subsidiary of Devolver Digital, I don't even know that, and the developer of Reigns and Card Shark is no longer listed as well. So they're taking these things out. Why? This is what this other individual wanted over here. The Sweet Baby Inc. employee wants to burn the games industry to the ground. It looks like they're succeeding here because Sweet Baby Inc. is removing them. But, Sweet Baby Inc. is woke, and Square Enix, from what I can see, isn't so much. It is unclear why Sweet Baby Inc. removed Square Enix from its client list. However, an investor for Square Enix questioned the company about its relationship with Sweet Baby Inc. during a recent earnings report. As reported by X-user Mitch Suzu, the investor questioned, "I'm personally happier about the shift from quantity to quality. I hope good titles will come out in the future. I'm concerned about the Canadian consultant company Sweet Baby. Square Enix is listed as a client, but is there actually a transaction there? What kind of transaction is it? Will they continue to do so in the future?" And we also have here Square Enix canceling $140 million worth of games earlier this year as it looks to be more selective. So they did this in the first quarter. It was actually their fiscal year ending in March 2024. This article came out in April 30th of 2024. So this is what they said in the article, that it's about quality, not quantity. There are some games that they're selling that are duds, and then there's other games that they're selling that are big hits, and they're going to focus on the ones that they think are going to be big hits. Now, why are those games duds and why are the other games big hits? Is it due to wokeness? I don't know. I'm not familiar with all the games. Square Enix president said, "I would like to refrain from making specific comments about individual clients as we shift from quality to quantity, provided content that is enjoyable and safe for our consumers is also part of what makes a product fun. We will do our best as creators." So I guess, they want to make it safe for their customers. What do you mean safe for their customers? You're talking about games where you can commit some pretty atrocious acts of violence. So I don't know. Square Enix previously worked with consultancy group Black Girl Gamers on Forspoke. It did not turn out well for the company. Square Enix representative director admitted the game's sales were not good during the company's financial results briefing back in February of 2023. He said reviews of Forspoke, which were released on January 24, 2023, have been challenging. However, the game has also received positive feedback on its action features, including its parkour and combat capabilities. So it has yielded results that will lead to improvement of our development capabilities in our games in the future. Next, he discussed the game's sales. That said, its sales have been lackluster, and while the performance of new titles with February and March release dates will be the ultimate determinant, we see considerable downside risk to our 2023 earnings. So Square Enix shut down the game's development, Luminous Productions, and absorbed it into the company at large. Luminous Productions announced it was shuttering in February 2023. So as you can see, Square Enix is struggling. It's having problems. What is this, Dragon Quest? I don't know what this is. I don't think it's Dragon Quest. It might be. Dragon Quest is good if you like turn-based role-playing games. It's a good one. I've played a lot of them. I played more Dragon Quest than anything else, so I recommend it. Have fun. I don't really know that we need to talk too much more about this. Don't be woke. If you're going to go into the games industry, remove yourself from the woke side of things. Now, the problem is, my understanding, I don't have research to back this up, but these games get funded, and the people who are funding these games are woke and expect the games to be woke, have representation, etc., whatever you want to say. And that's just wrong. What are you doing? You're wasting the players' time with garbage they don't need to see. I saw somebody commenting on Days Gone saying that it was not woke. And they're largely right. It wasn't woke. There was an element in there. There was an interracial lesbian couple. What is the interracial lesbian couple doing in a post-apocalyptic zombie game? Sure, there could be an interracial lesbian couple. It's not outside the realm of possibility, but homosexual relationships are a luxury lifestyle. I've said this before. When you're dealing with human survival, typically, make as many babies as you can, because a lot of you are going to be dying. We know this, especially when you're dealing with a zombie apocalypse and raiders and all those sorts of different things. So, yeah, there's just no end to the woke. I mean, maybe someday we'll get there, but I doubt it, because feminism is the original woke movement, and I don't see that going anywhere ever. Not to the level that it needs to not be woke anymore. So anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you all in the next video.